This is Gemara Baba Basra Daf Kof Nun Dalid, and we pick it up in the bottom of Kof Nun Gimel Amid Beis in the last line, quoting the second shita on the Mishnah, that you have to bring a raya to extract as the classical cases of Amot Mechler Love Raya. And once again, we like all the learning to be an incredible zchos rafua shlema for tinok ben Miriam Ahuva b'soich sha'ar Chayla Yisrael. And this sheet of the Chachamim is the second sheet from the Mishnah, back in the bottom of Kufnun Gimel Amid Aleph. And again, just to remind yourself, if someone loikasav b'shchimra loikasav shchimra, if in the shtar it does not say if the gift was a shchimra gift, and now the guy is healthy and he's saying it was shchimra gift, I'm better now, so I'm able to be chayzer. The recipient says no, it was a regular manas bari. So I'm happy that you're healthy, but lamaisa, what you gave away is still ours. So Chachamim said, "Amoitzi mechaverai olav haraya." So we turn over to Kufnun Daled of an Aleph, and says the Gemara, "Raya b'mai." How can a raya be brought? Says the Gemara, and the Rashbam explains whether the Rabbanan, whether a mayor, what raya? I apologize. What raya can be brought in these cases? Ravuna Amar Raya Be'idim. Rochista Ravuna Amar Raya B'Kiyam Ashtar. Two different ways of proving one's point of view, either with Eidim proving he was either a Bari or a Shchimera, or Kiyam Shtarais, they could prove the status of the star that was written. So Ravuna Amar Raya Be'idim, Kamef L'Gibib looked at Rav Yaakov Rav Nasan. Ravuna holds it's a raya with Eidim. He says that the machlekes in the Mishnah is machlekes Rav Yaakov and Rav Nasan. Rameir Kirav Nasan, Rabbanon Kirav Yaakov. Rameir holds like Rav Nasan, Rabbanon holds like Rav Yaakov. This is machlekes Rav Yaakov and Rav Nasan that we had yesterday. Of course, we have a little siman over here of Meiniach, which is an acronym of Mem is Meir, Nun is Nasan, Yud is Yaakov, and Chaf is the Chachamim. Once again, reminding us that simanim are not new. Everyone who's joined on the Zichru bandwagon understands how incredible they are. What's the machlekes? It's a different machlekes. The machlekes is, if someone admits that a star was written, is a key unnecessary? You don't have to be makayim it. Rabban and Savri, and therefore that's why they're coming the whole Mishnah hold. So says the Gemara, we have a two-way machlekes. What is the raya on the Mishnah? And the Gemara then explains whether it's a raya be'idim, raya b'shtar, is going to pin the machlekes in the Mishnah on either a machlekes Rav Yaakov and Rav Nasan, or a machlekes of Moide B'Shtar Shekasu. Says the Gemara, V'hav Ligi B'Chada Zimna. We already once had such a machlekes Rameir and the Chachamim. Says the Gemara, we've already seen them argue about Moide B'Shtar Shekasu. So the question then would be, why in our Mishnah would they have the same machlekes that they already had? Titania, we learned in our Braisa, we have this in Ksubis. Rameir hold when Eidim come to Makayim Ashtar, they're only there to be Makayim the Shtar. However, they're not believed to be to passel the Shtar. No, Ne'amanim, they're Ne'aman on the Shtar. They're Ne'aman even to passel up the Shtar. This is the same machlekes with Moed B'Shtar Shekasu. You have to be able to Makayim it or not. Says the Gemara, Sricha, we still need both cases. If we only had that case, the second Braisa become Rabbanon, Shem Dalima Eidim, Umar Ishtara. Why do the Rabbanim say what they hold? Because the Eidim are strong, and therefore they could create a Reisa in the Shtar, and that's why you need to be Mekayim it. Avalacha, Hu Delav Kol Kimine, but over here by us, is not so much power. Therefore, both cases are necessary. Before we go further, let's just see one moment of the Rashbam. The Rashbam just explains what is this machlokes. Moed v'shar shekasu sarach l'kaimoi or ein sarach l'kaimoi. So Meir holds ein sarach l'kaimoi. The stam shtaroi sarim kashus. Ksherim ubishtaroi loy nema b'shasu b'sheter l'paislai. V'achi karamasti says sarach l'viraya be'idim sheshchimaraya divrei Meir. Meir holds you have to bring a raya that he was a shchimar. Because everyone's in agreement in our Mishnah that this is a kosher shtar. So now the shtar is kosher. Shubari. So then right now he's a bari. So we go Basra the way he is right now. Why? Shubala shtar sachlavi raya. Kiyamashtar sheitz kaim b'chaysam of the das noisin shetoyin kusavte v'loy mehanya. Midi doesn't help at all. Why? The Kamash Chamara Yisi v'Peshas v'Pesheter. So the Rashbam really explains that there's so much more depth going on over here that really the underpinnings of the Nemanis is really whether there's a Pesha Aser or not. Everyone's going with him Rav Nelson, but the Shaila is whether Moed B'Shar Shekasu Sarach L'Kaima or Ein Sarach L'Kaima. Continues the Gemara. Rabba holds just like Ravuna that in our Mishnah the raya that needs to be brought is a raya be'idim. Amrli Abaye, so Abaye says to Rabba, my time, what's the reason that you're learning that in the Mishnah raya is to be be'idim? If you're going to tell me that every normal shtar writes in them that it was a gift, normally it writes in the shtar as he was walking the shuk. And here it doesn't say that. So Shema Mina, from the lack of the clause that he was healthy, that's a rayosh chimerahavai. Is that the reason? But I'll tell you fakert. Normally a shimera says he's lying in bed. So says the Gemara, we have no raya either way, because a shimera shtar is supposed to say he's sick. A healthy shtar is supposed to say he's healthy, and our shtar says nothing. So says the Gemara, you know what Rabbi holds, and therefore, what do we do in a classical Suffolk? We have a tug of war. Therefore, the money stays in possession of the owner, and therefore you have to bring a raya be'idim. And therefore, Rabbah says, since we're not sure if he's a shchimera and there's no indication in the shtar itself, therefore we can't place anything on the shtar, and therefore the giver, he keeps it unless there's going to be a raya keneged him. Says the Gemara, this machlokes Rav Huna and Rav Chisda, whether it's a raya be'edim or whether it's a raya b'shtar, plucked under Rav Yechanan. Amar raya be'edim, Rish Lakish amar raya b'kiyam b'shtar, the same exact machlokes. So Eser Rav Yechanan Rish Lakish, Rish Lakish yod kiyam b'shtar. Ma'isa b'bnei Brak shech shemachan chasav aviv umeis, and he died. And the Bnei Meshach came and they asked, he was a child, so he shouldn't get anything. So they came and they asked Rabbi Kiva, could they be baidek? Whether he was actually a katan. Amar lahu, Rabbi Kiva said he had to rashayil and navlai. What do you mean? You want to defile the dead body? You want to perform a bedika on the misa, on the mace. Second of all, what are you proving? The brother is dead. So you want to check this boy to see, was he a gadol? What do you mean? Simanim changed lachar misa. Therefore, even if we were to do a bedika, which number one we shouldn't do, because how could you be manavel a mace? But even if we were, it wouldn't prove anything because it's asil ishtanais lachar misa. So we turn over to Kuf Nandala Mabiz and says Rav Yechanan, let me explain to you how this is a raya to me. All of a raya that Rashban points out, which is going to be a raya be'idim and a kashan Reish Lakish. Special the did that mean a raya be'idim kivan da amar lo kuchas I see edim lo yashkechi bring edim they could not. Hanut ka'asu v'amr le'ma'u le'bayit kai. So now it makes sense that they're coming and tining. Let's examine. Let's see if you use a gadol. The whole story makes no sense. If the whole story, according to you, Reish Lakish, is a stam raya b'kiyam ashtar, so what is the reason that we're going and looking for Eidim? And if there are no Eidim, we're saying check if he's a gadol. Just check if the shtar is a kosher shtar. Says the Gemara, answers Reish Lakish. Why are you assuming that the nechasim are in the property of the family? And the lekuchais are coming and they are protesting. No, it's not the case. It's the opposite. Really, it's in possession of the lekuchais. Because the bnei mishpacha become married, and the bnei mishpacha are the ones being married. So it's the exact opposite. Says the Gemara, and the wording of the brisa sounds like Reish Lakish. Why? For the fact that he said we're not able to menavle the maze, and they were quiet. So they were quiet. Eliyamer, if it was flip way around, the kuchas kamar ma'ishaski. Why do they care if they are menavle this maze? Not Suzi Avino lay linavel. We want our cash. You're telling me how can we menavle the mace? That's your problem. Linavel. So for the fact that they were masking shows that it must be the Menei Mishpacha that are being ma'arer. Says the Gemara, again, let's be precise. The raya is not a raya. It doesn't mean it's not a good teretz. It means the raya is not a good raya. Why? Hachi kamalu. Chada, number one. This is really how he read it in the bottom of an aleph. First of all, he said the whole time does it start because we can't be menavil. Void, and number two, so there's no raya. The teret stands, but there's no raya from the lashon of brisa. Says the Gemara Tashima. Shael Reish Lakish says Rav Yechanan. Zusha shani b'mishnas bar kapara Reish Eichel Sadeh. Someone who's eating in a field, someone who's eating in a field, and everyone assumes he's eating in the field must be his. And then Vikar Lavechad Ira, and someone is Ma'ir Leimer Shali. Someone is Ma'ir and says, guess what? It's not yours, it's mine. Voiti says, I know. And this person that claims it's his pulls out a star, Shemacharti Ali, that it was sold to him. Oishan Asli Matana was given to him as a present. If the person in the field says, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't recognize the star. If he says, no, I understand that this is a star. This is a star pasim. Maybe he never paid me. Meaning, he's moidim mixas. So in this case, says the Gemara, excuse me, Leimar Rameirhi. This case seemingly fits with the Shitas Rameir Damar. Because there was no kiyam in this case, V'loi Rabbanan. So Gemara wants to prove from this case the Shitas Rameir Shashakasu Einay Tzarech Lekayim. Says Rav Yechanan Amar Lei, no raya. Loi Shani Oimer Divrei Hakol. Everyone agrees with Shakar saying Tzarech Lekayim. Everyone agrees that, says Rav Yechanan, everyone agrees Aye, Bomif like Pligi. What do you mean? We just had a whole machlekes. So Amar Lei, says the Gemara. So Rav Yochanan says back to Reish Lakish, I Eidim Alime Amar Ishtare. Ew called Kamine, the same time that we had last time. When there are Eidim and create a Reisa, that's going to be different. But in this case, there's no Eidim. It's the seller himself. So he doesn't create such a Reisa. And therefore, it will not, everyone in this case will be agreeing, Eino Yitzarech Lekaimoi. Amar Lei, Reish Lakish responds, but what do you mean, says Reish Lakish? You, Rav Yochanan, held that they have a good ear, even though there are no Eidim. So why are you telling me not that way? So Amar Rav Yochanan responds, Zu Alazar Amra, Ani lo yamarti davar zemi olam. Well, you just quoted, I never said it. My Talmud Alazar said it, but I disagree, and I hold that an error of the Bnei Mishmach is not a good error, and therefore it will not work only in a case where there's an error with Eidim. And that's the reason why in this case everyone will agree to it. We'll stop over here. We'll pick it up from Avzera the next year. B'siyata Dishmai.